Welcome, ghouls and gals, to the Haunted Library. Today I'll be reading my take on the weekly challenge. It's called DIE-vination. But remember, if you're a little squeamish, you might want to sit this one out. It does have a gore warning on it. But for everybody else, gather round. Book, come now, come. DIE-vination. The little silver bell jingled as the door to the shop flew open. The woman sitting at the desk looked up from her tarot cards, crinkling her nose. She sat the cards face down on the table. Hello, welcome to Anahata Readings, where the proof is in the cards. Welcome, sit, sit. I, Rowena, will read your cards and tell you of your very true love. It's usually $200, but since it's almost Valentine's Day, I have a sale for $30. Resting her pale hands on the purple crushed tablecloth, twisting the chair around, he sat down looking at her over his crooked nose. Listen up, Rowena, he said, making air quotes. There is a girl that is coming in here, tall, blonde, huge knockers, and a total knockout. You're going to tell her that she will meet her soulmate tonight at the Crow's Nest. I'll be wearing a Hawaiian button-up, yada, yada, yada. You can spin the rest. Excuse the fuck out of me. Why on earth would I lie to that poor girl? Who do you think you are? Well, I'm Henry, and you will tell Rose, or I will tell everybody you're a fraud, he said, shrugging, picking up a piece of lint off of the table. I assure you, Henry, I have seen what your future has in store, which is grim, she said, curtly shaking her head. The gold coins on her head wrap swayed with emotion. Everybody knows it was Abigail that had the sight. That's why you pushed her into the pool, Henry said, leveling her with a stare. Oh, wait, everybody doesn't know that. Just me. His haughty laughter sent an icy chill down her spine. Now, Claudia, do you mind if I call you that? The Rowena bit, it's too much. Claudia stared at him, mouth agape in horror. How did you know my name? She asked in a whisper. Well, Delia, I happen to be everything you want to be. Gifted, Henry said, spreading his arms wide, grinning. He leaned forward into the chair back. So, what you say? I mean, if you could see my future, you would be mighty scared right now. Don't call me Delia. That's what Abby used to call me, Claudia replied, trembling. Oh, I know. She told me. Isn't that right, Abby? Henry asked, folding his elbows on the chair back, wiggling his eyebrows. The pungent smell of chlorine filled up the small storefront. Tears ran down Claudia's face. Looking sideways, a small girl stood to her left. Water dropped into the floor, and her long black hair was plastered over her face. Abby lifted her gaze, her milky eyes looking into her brown ones. Cocking her head to the side, Abby opened her mouth, and water spewed from her blue lips, covering Claudia's emerald dress. Screaming, she fell from the chair, landing on her butt. Claudia backpedaled to the wall. Abby took a ghastly step towards her sister, leaving a water trail. Scrambling up to her feet, she ran to the bathroom, slamming the door behind her. Water leaked under the door, soaking her black boots. Backing up to the far wall, she watched in horror as the doorknob jiggled. Abby began to pound on the door, the inhuman screeching accompanied by scratching. To no avail, Abby continued her assault on the door, pounding. The door splintered. A few quick raps came further up the door. Just think about it, will you? Shutting her eyes as hard as she could, Claudia dropped to the floor. Cowering against the wall, she covered her ears. She heard a faint jingle as the door was opened. The pounding on the door stopped, only to be replaced by the beating of her heart in her ears. Opening an eye, she glanced at the door. The crack was gone. Jumping to her feet, she patted down her dress. The water was all gone. Clicking, the lock opened. She rested her hand on the door. Turning the knob, she held her breath. Creaking, the door opened a few centimeters at a time. The bell rang out. Screaming, she slammed it shut again. Hello? A soft voice called from the other side. Soothing down her dress, Claudia pushed the door open. Sucking in a breath, she stilled. Hello, I'm Rowena. The truth is in the cards. Are you here for a reading? She asked, voice quivering. Are you okay? Do you need help? She asked, face full of concern. Her pouty pink lips pursed as she put her hands on her hips. I have just been expecting you. Please, sit, Rose, she said, gesturing toward the chair. Looking cautiously at her Victorian chair sitting at the table, the shop looked as it always did, trying to nonchalantly peek under the table. She pulled her seat out. Oh, wow, you're good. You know my name? She asked, blue eyes glittering. Of course. My friend Amy came here. She said you were good. Brushing her yellow dress down her thighs, she sat eagerly, guilt rolling around in her stomach. She reached for her cards, shuffling them, laying out a 10-card spread. Claudia flipped them over. The Fool, 7 of coins, Magician, 3 of swords, the Tower, 4 of cups, Justice, Wheel of Fortune, 10 of swords, and finally, the 10 of wands. Chewing on her fingernail, she looked over the mix of inverted cards. Is that bad? Rose asked, leaning forward. Does that mean my love is a dummy? What? Claudia asked, snapping back to reality. Oh, no. I was just lifted away by the power in your future. Shuffling the cards back in the deck, Claudia pulled a black velvet cover off of a clear orb sitting to her right. Running her hands around the ball, she used her knee to hit a switch. The ball emitted a faint yellow light. I see. Do you ever go to the crow's nest? She asked, looking up from her ball. I've been a few times when they have live music, Rose said, nodding eagerly, sitting on the edge of her seat. You will meet a very handsome devil there. Forcing a laugh, Claudia gently shook her head, smiling. He will have on a Hawaiian shirt. I guess he will stand out in Maine, huh? Sitting back in her chair, Rose scrunched up her face, squinting at the crystal ball. She scoffed. Hawaiian print? Are you sure? I could never do matching outfits. That is not my style, and definitely not going on my body. That's what the spirits are telling me. Flicking the switch off with her knee, she slung the cloth back over the ball. Please leave a 5-star review after you meet him. Rifling through her purse, Rose pulled out a wallet. Is the Valentine's love sale still going on? Oh no, dear. This one's on me. As I said, I dreamt you were coming. Smiling, she ushered her out the door. Flipping her sign to closed, Claudia released a breath she hadn't realized she'd been holding. Pulling a bottle of 90 proof from underneath the counter, she walked up the creaky stairs. Sleep was not going to come to a sober mind tonight. Taking 2 swigs from the bottle, she coughed, the fire descending into her stomach. The electric dance music pulsed with the rhythm of the strobe lights. Rose swayed to the music. Looking around the packed bar, she slurped the rest of her water. She sighed to herself. I guess Rowena is a fake, she thought. Giving the bar one last sweep, she hopped off her bar stool, waving to the barkeep. Turning, she bumped into something. Falling back against the bar, she caught herself. Looking up, she sucked in a breath. Standing before her was a handsome man in a yellow shirt dotted with hibiscus flowers. It's you, she said, righting herself. My name is Rose, he inquired, raising an eyebrow. Hi, Rose. I'm Henry. Extending his hand in greeting. This is going to sound crazy, but I met with a love psychic today. No way. You believe in that crap? Oh, it must seem pretty silly, huh? Rose replied, deflating. Leaning into her ear, he whispered, Rowena told me the most beautiful girl in the world would meet me here in a yellow dress. Turning her head, she looked at him wide-eyed. That I should wear a Hawaiian shirt. I really thought she was just being mean to me at that point. Laughing softly, he tucked her hair behind her ear. Would you like to go back to my place and talk? That would be lovely, Rose. Taking his hand, she led him out of the bar, jogging across the street to her little red Beetle. Unlocking the door, she paused. I can't believe I'm doing this. It's so crazy. Laughing, she slid into the driver's seat. Turning on the car, Crystal Casket blared through the speakers. Twisting in his seat, he looked astonished. Now, that is unexpected for sure. A huge grin spread across her face. Crystal Casket is the goat carrying the death metal scene, and I will die on this hill. Turning down the volume, she put the car in reverse. The goat? Yeah, greatest of all time. Laughing, she sped down the street. The night sky was splattered brilliantly with stars. Turning into a suburb, she whipped the car into the driveway. The one-story cottage looked like something out of a storybook. "Welcome to my house. Now, I don't drink, but I do have tea and soda," she said, beaming at him. "I like tea," he said, unclipping his seatbelt. Following her up the steps, he gave a quick look around the neighborhood before closing the door. "Hey, Rose, do you believe what Rowena said, that we're soulmates?" Henry asked. "Well, I think it's too soon to tell, but I feel like she got us to say hello. So that could be the start of our love story," Rose replied, smiling and looking down at the floor. "What do you think?" her blue eyes brimming with hope. "I feel like Rowena's third eye sees as much as Homer's did." "Huh? Who is Homer?" "Oh, he's a blind poet. I guess you don't think my jokes are funny. If she did have a sliver of the sight, she would have told you to stay home tonight." Smiling, he walked past her into the kitchen. Fear crystallized into her stomach. Rose watched him walk past, running down the hallway to the front door. I don't understand." Running her hands over the space where the door should be, the wall felt solid. "Do you want tea or soda?" he called from the kitchen. A chorus of no's echoed a reply. Leaning against the wall, he blew on his tea, watching her try to climb the wall to find a way out. "Oh, I didn't think we would be needing the door, so I took it out." "You, have something on your face, just like here," Henry said, pointing to his eye, taking a drink of his tea. Glancing at the mirror that hung to her left, she tried to rub off the black line by her eye. Another one protruded from her eye socket. Her face contorting, she watched in horror as 4 lines protruded from her eye. A sharp, ripping pain exploded in her face, blood splattering on the mirror. Rose watched in horror as her eye got ripped from her socket. On spider-like legs, it walked across her face, the bundle of nerves leaving a smear of blood. Falling into the floor, scampering away. Leaning closer, she slowly brought her fingers to her eye socket, touching the warm crimson trickling out. She looked down at her fingers in shock. "Didn't anyone ever tell you not to invite strangers into your home? My soulmate could never be so ditzy." Tossing the mug onto the floor, he pushed off the wall, closing the distance between them. Fixing a glove over his left hand, the metal claws glinted in the light. Henry slashed open her stomach. Blood splashed into the floor. Her intestines popped out onto her feet. Rose fell to the ground in a heap. To leave such a mess by the door. Stepping over her body, he walked out onto the porch. Whistling, he wiped his feet on the mat. Tucking his hands into his pockets, he started down the street. The silver bell jingled as the door pushed open. "I'm sorry, we're closed," Claudia said. Looking up, her face paled. "Oh no, you can't be here. What did you do?" Henry shrugged nonchalantly. "I have no idea what you mean." Lighting a bundle of sage, Claudia began wafting the smoke around. "I woke up to an eyeball on my coffee pot," she said. "You know, you're supposed to do that with the window open, right? You're just making them mad." "The date didn't go well. She didn't laugh at my jokes." "That can really hurt a man's self-esteem, you know." Flopping down into the chair, he pouted. "But there's a new leading lady in my life. She is goal-oriented. I like that in a woman. So when Catherine comes here, tell her to go to the Treasure Trove bookstore. There's an amateur night, and she will meet an editor in a plaid button-up." "I don't want to," she said, taking a seat across from him. Claudia picked at her fingernails. "I thought matchmaker was your thing," Henry said, picking up the tarot cards. "And I definitely wouldn't do what you're thinking." Laying down the Knight of Swords, Death, and then the Queen of Cups. If you call the cops or tell her anything, I see you burning to death in this, quaint little shop you have." Scooting back from the table, he bent down, hands on his knees, to look her in the eye. "I know you will do the right thing." Pulling the door open, he flipped the sign to open. "Remember, Delia, it's called divination, not DIE-vination." Claudia dropped her head into her hands, massaging her temples. She scrubbed her hands down her face. The door opened. The dread reverberated through her with the sound of the bell. Glancing up, a tall redhead was looking anxiously around. Her black shirt read "Beta Babes" in pink glitter writing. "Welcome. I am Rowena. The truth is found in the cards. Please sit." gesturing to the chair out in front of her. I know that love readings are on sale for Valentine's Day, but I'm more of a Lupercalia kind of lady. I was wondering if a career reading would also be $30. Holding her hands out in front of her body, palms forward, Claudia began to hum and sway. Ah, yes, Catherine, I would be happy to see your future. Ignoring Catherine's gasp, Claudia ran her hands over the crystal ball, flipping the switch with her knee. A yellow light projected from the ball. Beta babes. Is that your book club? Yes, it is. Your success is to be found at the Treasure Trove bookstore. A man in stripes. Wait, no, I see plaid. Will offer you a book deal. You will have more than you could ever want. Flicking the switch off under the table, the ball went dim. Pulling $30 from her pocket, Catherine laid it on the table. Thank you so much. Shaking her hand, she rushed out the door, pulling her phone from her pocket. Claudia could hear her speaking in muffled, excited tones. Leaning back in her chair, she flipped on the old 2 TV. While she had a large flat screen upstairs, the old box style just added to the ambience. Breaking news. The body of a local biology student, Rose Thornwood, was found dead in her home in the Oakland neighborhood. Foul play is suspected. If you have any information, please call the hotline. Even if you don't think it is much, it could be the clue needed to bring her justice. Pulling her phone from her desk drawer, Claudia Googled the number for Treasure Trove. Fingers dancing over the call button, she held her breath and punched the icon. Listening to the soft ring, she began to lose her nerve. There could be multiple young women named Rose, right? That doesn't mean it's the lamb that I sent to slaughter, right? Hello? The man said. This is going to sound crazy, but I was at a coffee bar and I overheard a man in plaid on the phone. I'm not sure who he was talking to, but he mentioned following around this redhead lady and an open mic night tonight at the Treasure Trove. I'm not sure, but I think he really might hurt her. Just stick close to him if he comes in and call the cops, okay? I couldn't sleep if I knew something bad happened and I did nothing to prevent it. Holy shit. I'll spread the word. Even if it's nothing, better safe, right? Hanging up with a click, she dropped her head onto the chair back. Taking a deep breath, she jumped when her phone vibrated on the table. The number on the screen was the Treasure Trove. Was I too late? She wondered, picking up the phone. Hello? Hey, Claudia. Do you smell smoke? Henry said, laughing. I guess she really should have seen that coming in the cards. Until next time, happy hauntings.